You're listening to Lexington Community Radio, WLXU 93.9, and this is Bike Talk.
Hi, I'm your host, Wanda Bertram. Today, we're talking about the Kentucky Bike Walk Summit coming up on August 16th and 17th. I'm joined today by Sharon Brown and Sandra Broadus, who are on the planning committee for the summit. Sharon is a professor of exercise science at Transylvania University, and she's a board member for the Bluegrass Cycling Club. Sandra is the alternative transportation manager for the University of Kentucky, and she chairs the Lexington Bike and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks.
Hey, Wanda.
Great to be here.
And I guess I should say, hey, ladies, welcome to the show. Anyway, I am so excited about this summit. I've looked at the agenda and all the really fun social activities, and I'm totally psyched. So before we actually get into that, I would love to hear from you two a little bit more about what you do, what are your roles in the cycling community, and how did you get involved, and what's your involvement in this summit?
This is Sandra. I have been the alternative transportation manager at the University of Kentucky for almost 2 years now, and I basically manage all of their bicycle, pedestrian, and transit programs. And through that role, I joined the Lexington Bike and Pedestrian Advisory Committee as the UK representative and have been the chair for a little over a year now. So I'm very actively involved in a lot of the cycling groups in Lexington. I'm a member of the Bluegrass Cycling Club. I hang out with a lot of the guys from social cycling. I know most of the bike shop owners in town. I'm just very excited that Lexington is hosting the Bike Walk Summit this year, and really excited to host people from around the state to come see what we've got going on here.
What an interesting job. And Sharon, what about you?
This is Sharon, and I am a professor at Transy, and I've been involved with some courses that I've taught there. In fact, Wanda had me on the show last year, that I take students bicycling in the Netherlands, where they learn about the built environment and a lifestyle where people actually cycle as day-to-day lifestyles. Over 50% of people in the Netherlands cycle. So I've been involved that way. I'm on the board for the Bluegrass Cycling Club, so I've been active in the club for many, many years. And I've also been involved with the Kentucky Bike and Bikeways Commission and have attended their annual conference in a number of different places across the state, which is where I met Bill Gorton, who's the current president of the KBBC. And Bill and I ran into each other and we said, we think it's time to have another Kentucky Bike Walk Summit. And so we brainstormed about putting together a committee and getting this idea rolling. And Sandra's a great partner. And we have one more partner on the planning committee, and that's Sam Crankshaw, who's super involved with it too.
And what does Sam do?
Sam is the graphic and digital communication coordinator for the Lexington Department of Environmental Quality and Public Works, and used to be one of Sharon's students at Transy.
That's true. He actually went to the Netherlands trip last year.
Wow, it all comes back around, doesn't it? There are lots of other people that have been involved in this, but Sharon, I know you wrote the seed grant for the summit.
Right. As I mentioned just a second ago, that I know Bill Gorton, who's the president of the KBBC. And as we talked about it, we thought, let's go ahead, let's see if we can get some grant money to sort of be the seed money for this event, because it will be expensive to put together. So I wrote a grant with the Paul and Nye grant opportunity that's in Kentucky. And this is a fund that is actually funded by people who buy the license plates, Share the Road in Kentucky. So any of you out there who have Share the Road license plates, thanks for helping to sponsor the Kentucky Bike and Walk Summit.
Yes, thank everyone. And I understand that you have done a lot of background work getting ready for this, including attending the National Bike Summit in Washington, D.C.
Right. Actually, Sandra and I both attended the National Bike Summit this year.
Yeah, the National Bike Summit was great. We got the opportunity to see we got to steal a lot of great ideas for how to host a really successful summit. And we also got to go on Capitol Hill and talk to our legislature and meet with some of their aides and talk to them about, how do we move bicycling forward for the state of Kentucky. And they were really receptive, and it was a really great experience.
So this whole summit, it's more than just a summit. It's an incredible process to really push cycling in Kentucky.
Right. We have several goals that we hope to come out from the summit. One of those is to create a vision for Kentucky on what's next. What do we need next in the state? We are currently ranked number 43
We've got to do better.
We've got to do better, and we can do better. This summit's going to help us do better. And also hoping that we can actually maybe organize an advocacy group. We're one of the few states that do not have a statewide advocacy group. So while we have all these great programs, we also have some important goals that we hope be outcomes from this summit.
And education, I think, is one of those as well. How does that fit in?
Yeah, so we actually just had a new law for cycling passed earlier this year called the 3-foot passing law.
Dixie
Yeah.
Moore, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
girlfriend.
Thank you. But yeah, that was the hard work of one advocate, Dixie Moore, and it took several years to get through the whole process. But now we have a law that states that cars must give bicycles at least 3 feet of room when passing them on the roadway. So a lot of our education, I think, needs to focus on that and educating motorists on how to interact with bicycles safely in the roadway. But we also just need, more general bicycle and pedestrian safety education throughout the state.
And facilities and infrastructure.
Yeah,
that's
of
part
course.
of this as well, I think.
Yes, it is.
In a big sort of way.
Yes, we hope in a big sort of way. One of the things that will happen is engineers for Kentucky who want to attend can actually earn continuing education units. So we are welcoming the engineers across the state who are in part of the design and building of these roads that will create infrastructure for safety for pedestrians and cyclists.
Well, in addition to engineers, who else could and should and might want to attend?
Literally anyone is welcome to attend. We're hoping advocates, anyone who's ever ridden a bicycle or walked anywhere in Kentucky, we want you to be at the summit and help us move it forward for the whole state. But we're hoping not just advocates, engineers, planners, politicians, health departments,
tourism office.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone that might possibly have some connection to biking and walking, no matter how small of a connection, we think we need to get all these people together in the same place and talk through how we can be more organized and help move Kentucky forward.
Yeah, and including people in public health and our health departments. We think that's an important part to keep Kentucky's active and safe and active.
Mm-hmm. And it's at Transylvania University on August 16th and 17th, which is a Thursday and Friday. Mm-hmm. But there's also stuff going on before and after.
Yes. We have a lot of really fun social activities planned for anyone that wants to make the commute to Lexington for the summit. So the day before, we're going to have kind of a bike ride out to our distillery district in Lexington and talk to people about the upcoming Town Branch Trail, which is going to be a really nice shared use path that goes right through our downtown. And the consultants that design this trail are going to be there and talk to other communities about how they can make it happen. Even if it's a small rural area, they can definitely learn a lot from Lexington on how we got the grant for this and how we can make it happen other places. And then we have some really fun social activities Thursday and Friday after the summit and all day Saturday. So we're hoping that people will come and stay and spend a lot of time in Lexington.
We're excited about the Thursday night events too. We're going to be hosting a happy hour at West 6th, and also during that time, an opportunity for people to tour the brewery, but also to tour Broke Spoke at the nonprofit bike shop in town that we're really proud to share and show off.
Yes, we are.
And also we're going to have a bike polo demonstration that many people may not know, but Lexington is the first hard court bike polo courses in the U.S. and actually last fall hosted the International Bike Polo Tournament. So we're excited to share all those experiences.
So that's huge. Now, registration, people can register online and there is a cost.
Yeah, so you can register online. It's kybikewalksummit.com. And the registration fee includes a free t-shirt if you register before July 31st and breakfast and lunch both days. It's going to be $50 for advocates and professionals. It'll be $25 for students and $75 for engineers and planners who are seeking professional education credits.
So depending on who you are, from a student to a professional, there's a cost to fit your budget.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Well, and this is something people should not miss. We're going to take a short break and stay tuned in, and we're going to be right back talking more about the Kentucky Bike Summit. Welcome back to Bike Talk on Lexington Community Radio. I'm your host, Wanda Bertram. Today we're talking about the Kentucky Bike Walk Summit coming up on August 16th and 17th. I'm joined by Sharon Brown and Sandra Broadus, who are on the planning committee for the summit. And we've been talking about the summit, how it got organized, a little bit about its goals and outcomes, and who should come. Tell me a little bit about the history of this summit. Is this something that happens every year?
No, this is not something that happens every year. In fact, this is only the second Kentucky Bike Walk Summit that we've had in the state. And the last one was held 6 years ago in 2012, and it was held in Frankfurt.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. And the last one was a really great success. I was there. I remember it well. And it had about 150 people in attendance. And we're shooting our goal of having about at least 300 attend the conference.
And you want people from all over the state.
Yeah, definitely. This is, this is meant for everybody, urban, rural, no matter what type of cycling you're into, if you ride on the road or if you're a daily commuter or if you're a mountain biker, like we want you here and we hope to have something for everyone.
Because we want to hear their ideas as well. We want to build upon each other.
Yeah, it's not just about, getting ideas from the people who are speaking, but hopefully networking with other people in the state and taking ideas back to your own home community and just making it statewide coalition.
Yeah, and I think a big part of the agenda, we're going to get to that, is about having that kind of really interesting interaction among folks to share those ideas and really get inspired by each other all over the state.
Definitely.
So one really important part of all of this happening is not just your planning committee with the two of you and Sam, but you also have a steering committee.
Yeah, so our steering committee has been awesome. I don't think we would have been able to do this without their input, but we've got a really great team of people that have been kind of advising us. Some of them helped plan the last summit that happened in 2012, and some of them are just advocates from around the state. So we have Bill Gorton, who Sharon mentioned earlier. He's the the commissioner of the Kentucky Bicycle and Bikeways Commission. He's been really instrumental in helping us so far. Rolf Eisinger, who's the bicycle and pedestrian program coordinator for the city of Louisville. Troy Hearn, who's the statewide bicycle and pedestrian program coordinator. He worked for the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. Danielle Hill, who is a Trek Women's advocate. She's a member of the Kentucky Mountain Bike Association board and works for Schellers Fitness and Cycling here in Lexington. Keith Lovin, who's an engineer for the city of Lexington. Mike Sewell, who's the senior engineer at Gresham Smith and Partners. Pam Thomas, who's the president of the Bluegrass Cycling Club, and Patrick Wazalowski, who's also a cycling advocate and member of the Bluegrass Cycling Club. So all of those people have been a part of our steering committee and an awesome part of our team that's helping get this off the ground and making sure that we include all the right people and say all the right things. And it's been really great working with all of them.
Yeah, that's an incredible group that you've put together there. You all have been working together to put together an agenda that really goes 2 days, but it really goes over 4 days. So tell me a little bit about what this agenda looks like. If I'm going to come, what can I expect to happen?
Yeah, so if you come in early on Wednesday, we're having a discussion at a local brewery about our Town Branch Trail. And then the summit really kicks off Thursday morning. We're going to have some really awesome keynote speakers. There's the opportunity for like some sunrise bike rides and coffee
early
runs.
Morning people.
Yes.
Arise.
Yeah, for the morning people, there's some coffee rides. And then breakfast is included with your registration. We'll have a really great welcome and introduction by some really awesome people. And then we have our first keynote speaker, who is Amelia Neptune. And she is the director for the Bicycle Friendly America program with the League of American Bicyclists. So we're really excited to host her.
So a great national figure coming in to do this keynote.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you've ever seen Bicycle Friendly Business, Bicycle Friendly University, or Bicycle Friendly Community, Amelia is the lady that puts it all together and helps certify these communities and universities and is helping really push the envelope for making America a more bicycle-friendly place. And then following her keynote address, we'll have breakout sessions, and we have 4 different themes for the summit. The first theme is advocacy and education. Then we have tourism and economic development, policy and funding, and design and infrastructure. So those are the 4 main themes, and we're hoping to have breakout sessions that cover all 4 of those topics throughout both days. And so people can kind of pick and choose what interests them the most and what will be most useful for their community, and hopefully follow that track throughout the whole summit.
And this will be a chance for people to really interact within those sessions and share ideas and learn things to take back to their own communities.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then in the afternoon on Thursday, we have another keynote speaker, which is Emiko Atherton. She is the director for the National Complete Streets Coalition, and we're very excited to host her. She has actually been really involved in Lexington in the last year or so because the National Complete Streets Coalition gave Lexington a pretty significant grant to do some street improvement projects for safety through a program called the Safe Streets Academy. So she's coming back here to talk about that program, how other communities could be involved with these grants, and a little bit about what the National Complete Streets Coalition does and what it means. And then we'll have more breakout sessions in the afternoon, and we'll have mobile workshops, bike rides, panel discussions, presentations. It's going to be really, really fun.
So it's active and interactive.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you're not going to just be, a lot of time will be spent at Transy in the sessions, but then in the mornings and afternoons, there's social time, there's moving around, checking out some of the places in Lexington that are really thriving because of this cycling community.
Yes.
And several of the mobile bike workshops will include actually bike tours of the history of downtown Lexington.
Oh, fun.
Yes. And also a bike tour that's going to look at all the murals and art in downtown Lexington.
Wow. Oh, I want to do that one. I'll be there.
Keep people moving.
Yeah. And then Friday is kind of a similar layout. It'll be more early morning rides for the early risers.
I'll be sleeping in. Sorry.
Yeah, me too, probably.
We'll have coffee for you, Wanda.
It's not going to do it.
So we'll have a kind of a State of the Union address by Troy Hearn, who is our statewide bicycle and pedestrian program coordinator. And I'm really interested to hear kind of where Kentucky's come since 2012 when we had our last
We've come
summit.
a long way, baby.
Yeah, we've come a long way. Yeah, definitely. And then our morning keynote address will be by Jim Sayer, who is the director for the Adventure Cycling Association. They're one of the largest nonprofit bicycle advocacy groups in America, and they're based out of Missoula, Montana. So I'm really excited that he's coming all the way from Montana to be here with us.
Wow, he's coming a long way, baby.
Yes. Yeah. So he's kind of hitting our tourism and economic development keynote. And then we'll have more breakout sessions and poster sessions. And we'll have another keynote address in the afternoon. And Friday, after the summit comes to a close, we'll have another big social ride and after party at Bicycle Face, which is one of our local bike shops that serves beer. So they're very excited to host us.
In downtown?
Yes,
downtown.
Right in downtown. And then Saturday, the summit is technically over, but we have a whole bunch of really awesome activities planned. We're going to have some road rides, some mountain bike clinics and rides, the annual bike prom hosted by the Living Arts and Sciences Center.
That's on Saturday?
That's on Saturday, yeah.
Oh.
So we're hoping people will stick around, and there's going to be definitely something for everybody.
Bike prom.
Yes. So bike prom is a scavenger hunt, basically via bicycle, and they have 7 or 8 different locations that you bike to, and once you get there, they all have a different activity that you have to do. So it might be like hopscotch or pin the tail on the donkey or something crazy. And once you've completed them all and got your passport checked, you come back to the Living Arts and Sciences Center, and then you get to, drink beer and hang out and have a good time.
There's a theme here. But people, for bike prom, you don't wear your regular cycling.
No, you get to dress up. And
oh, dear.
Yes, the theme this year is Sergeant Pepper's. So it's going to be bright and colorful and outlandish, and I'm very excited.
I'm very excited, too. And we're going to take another break, but we'll be right back because you're going to want to hear more about this bike summit, and because it is going to be fun. you're going to be there. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Bike Talk on Lexington Community Radio. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Wanda Bertram. And today we are talking about the Kentucky Bike Walk Summit coming up on August 16th and 17th. I'm joined by Sharon Brown and Sandra Broadus, who are on the planning committee for this summit. They've been filling us in on the details of what looks to be a fabulous, interactive, and active agenda that will not just be at Transy, but all across town. You won't want to miss it. But ladies, these kinds of things don't happen by themselves. It takes partners.
It does, and we're really thankful for the partners and sponsors that we've received as we've been organizing the summit. As I mentioned earlier, the Kentucky Bike and Bikeways Commission, through the Paula Nye grant, was our title sponsor for this event, and the grant was for $18,000. So we're really thankful for the Paula Nye Foundation.
Incredibly generous.
Incredibly generous. And that grant is for education, promoting education, bike safety, bike education. So we're really grateful for that.
And that came through the license plate.
Yes.
So buy a license plate.
Share the road.
Share the road and buy a license plate.
Right. So we're really grateful for that. We organized our sponsorships around the Tour de France jerseys. So our next sponsor.
That's so cute. What a great idea.
Sponsor level is a polka dot jersey sponsor, and that was for $3,500, which was given by the Bluegrass Cycling Club. So we're grateful for that active organization in the Lexington community. Next level are green jerseys. Those are green jersey sponsors are for $2,500. Again, we are very grateful for all of these sponsors that have stepped up to help support biking and pedestrian education and safety in the state.
Yeah, so one of our green jersey sponsors was Gresham Smith and Partners, which is an engineering and design firm that covers all of the Southeast. And they have a branch here in Louisville and donated $2,500 to help make this happen. They design bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure for cities and communities all across the Southeast U.S.
They are also part of the firm that is actually building the town branch trail. So they've been an active member in the city as well.
So they're very integral to what's going on in this community.
Yes,
Definitely.
yes. Another sponsor is the Mark Hinkle Pedaling Forward Foundation. It's a Hinkle Family Foundation. And Mark was a friend of many people here in Lexington. And unfortunately, he was hit by a car while biking and lost his life. And the family has been generous in honoring Mark by organizing this foundation. And we are grateful to the Hinkle Family Foundation for helping to promote safe cycling in the state of Kentucky.
It's a marvelous legacy.
A really great legacy. We're really, really happy to have them.
Yeah, the next sponsor is Moorhead Tourism. They also donated $2,500. Moorhead Tourism has really gotten on board with cycling and promoting cycling throughout their community. They actually have a Century Ride, which is a 100-mile bike ride. It's called Bike Moorhead. It happens every year. It's part of the Kentucky Cycling Challenge. And this year it's going to be on June 16th. So that's a really great way to go see Moorhead and see what their community's got going on.
I love that ride.
That's a great ride. It's a hard ride.
It is a hard ride, but you can do it.
You can do it.
Get out there. You can do it.
Our last green jersey sponsor for $2,500 is the Kentucky Rails to Trail Council. So we're grateful for their support, and also want to mention that the Kentucky Rails to Trails Council actually wrote the grant for the last summit in 2012 in Frankfurt. So we appreciate their leadership in the past and their continued support and leadership today.
They've been there all along.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we also had so far 4 white jersey sponsors, which is a $1,000 sponsorship. And those have been Greens Toyota, MKSK Studios, which is a landscape architecture design and planning firm, Four Roses Bourbon, and the Old Kentucky Home Bicycle Tour.
So you have a lot of wonderful sponsors already, but you can use more. And there are many levels at which people can sponsor, whether you're a corporation, you're a nonprofit, you're a government
individual.
institution, even individuals.
Yeah, there's no minimum amount for sponsorship. So we encourage everyone, if even if you can't make it, but you want to support cycling and walking throughout the state of Kentucky, we encourage you to make a gift. You can go to kybikewalksummit.com and click on sponsors to learn more about how you can donate. And every little bit helps. It's not cheap to throw a summit, and it's probably why it doesn't happen every year. But we're hoping that the momentum will carry us forward and really bring a lot more notoriety to biking and walking in the state.
Yeah, and there's no such thing as a gift that is too small or a gift that is too large.
That's absolutely right.
You have experience, I think, Wanda.
Once or twice. And you're also looking not just for sponsors, but calls for proposals, for ideas and speakers for some of your sessions.
Yeah, so we have a lot of different styles of sessions that we're looking for people to be a part of the summit. So you can come and just be a spectator at the summit and try and learn and network, but you can also come and tell the other people who visit what's going on in your community. Tell us what's happening, what your community's done well, what you've learned, anything that other communities can take away and take back to their own cities. Is exactly what we're looking for. So you can do a presentation, you can make a poster to present at one of our poster sessions, you can put together a group of people who are part of a project for a panel discussion, you can have a round table. If you want to host a mobile session like a bike ride or a walking tour, really any sort of format that would best fit what you want to talk about, we are happy to have you come tell everybody in Kentucky what's going on, and really excited to see what kind of proposals we get. The deadline for the call for proposals is June 15th, which is coming up fast. So we really hope that you put in a proposal, and you can do that also on our website, kybikewalksummit.com.
You're looking for people just to be very creative. Whether you want to do something inside, you want to take people outdoors, share something, experiment.
Yeah, definitely. Anything really. We're looking for anything that's worth talking about as far as cycling and walking, and really hoping to get a lot of people in from more rural communities. And we have some politicians that are coming. We have police officers. We have health departments. We have tourism. We have advocates. We have bicycle clubs. So anyone that is interested in this sort of stuff and has a story to tell, we want to hear it and we want to share it.
And then to actually submit a call for proposal is on the website. So we just want to encourage you to go ahead and submit. It will take you 5 to 10 minutes. If you have a good idea to share, please fill out that call for proposal.
And the website again?
kybikewalksummit.com.
So we're looking for sponsors. We're looking for calls to proposals for people to present. So again, this is an incredibly interactive summit. It's not just 2 or 3 people getting up and talking. It's lots of sharing and lots of having fun. And someone said something about beer earlier. So.
Yeah, and I'm really excited. We actually have, besides our keynote speakers, which I mentioned earlier, we also have some really great other featured speakers that people might recognize. Troy Hearn, which I mentioned earlier, he's our state bicycle and pedestrian program coordinator. Bill Gorton, who's the president of the Kentucky Bicycle and Bikeways Commission. One of them I'm really excited about personally is Dan Jones, who's the founder, chairman, and CEO of 21st Century Parks in Louisville. Also one of the founders of Humana, so big name in the world of Kentucky. Dixie Moore, who's the advocate who is single-handedly responsible for the passing of the 3-foot passing law in Kentucky, which we mentioned earlier.
You gotta love that lady.
Oh yeah, she's great. And Mike Sewell, who's the senior transportation engineer for the Town Branch project here in Lexington. So we've just got a whole bunch of really awesome people who have already signed up to present, and I can't wait to hear what they have to say.
And Mike Sewell, actually, just want to mention, we learned this year is actually on the board for the League of American Bicyclists national organization. So it's terrific to have a Kentucky representative on the national organization and also to be part of our summit leading sessions for us. So
great tie-in and a great honor for him.
Right,
Very proud of him.
Very proud of Mike.
All right. Well, we're going to take another break. We'll be back with you in a few moments to talk about how you can get involved in the Kentucky Bike Walk Summit in oh so many ways. We'll be back. Welcome back to Bike Talk on Lexington Community Radio. I'm your host, Wanda Bertram. Today we're talking about the Kentucky Bike Walk Summit coming up on August 16th and 17th. I'm here with Sharon Brown and Sandra Broadus, who are on the planning committee for this summit that is going to be all out fun. Guaranteed. But we're accomplishing things during this summit too. So one thing we haven't talked about, we've skimmed it, but I'd like to know a little bit more about the 4 focus areas and some of the topics that are going to be covered under those areas.
So one of the topics is tourism and economic development. And we're putting a good focus on this because if you're a cyclist out there, you know how gorgeous Kentucky is for cycling. I mean, we want to be more active and proactive in terms of inviting people to come to Kentucky and to stay here and ride. I learned several years ago visiting in Oregon that cycling tourism surpassed the lumber industry as one of the most profitable incomes in the state of Oregon. And so I think we have in Kentucky this rich, gorgeous landscape to share and to have people come to Kentucky to bike. So that's one of our key goals.
That's amazing too. When you look at an event like the Horsey 100 that brings lots of people, thousands of people, and a whole lot of money into the economy in Scott County, and that's just one.
Yes. In fact, there's an economic research project on the Horsey 100 that shows that every year over $500,000 comes into the city of Georgetown just as a result of hosting the Horsey 100. We need more research like that in Kentucky about cycling to help people understand the value and what it can do for our communities and our state. And another example that made me think about is Pam Thomas several years ago organized the Century Challenge, which Sandra mentioned briefly before. And what's interesting, so if you ride 5 different centuries, you get a free jersey, actually get a whole kit. They're awesome.
Free stuff.
Yes. And what's interesting I learned from talking with Pam is that actually the majority of people who actually earn the jersey are from out of state. They're looking to come to Kentucky to bike because it's that beautiful. And so we need more programs, we need support and more ideas to promote tourism and economic development around cycling in Kentucky.
And do it as a state.
Yeah, and I would say, mountain biking is also huge for tourism. And there's a lot of small communities that could really benefit from having more mountain bike infrastructure and trails for people to ride on. So there's a regional branch of the Kentucky Mountain Bike Association for every part of Kentucky, and they're working really hard to make sure that there are really nice trails for people to ride, and they are really instrumental in providing tourism opportunities for smaller towns throughout the state.
And that is a sector of cycling in Kentucky that is growing tremendously because of that. You are seeing so many new trails developed and so many people going out to rural areas to do that as a result.
Right.
Yeah.
Another area is the advocacy and education theme. And we mentioned Dixie Moore before. We'll mention her again and again. But we're
our hero.
We know that Dixie will be presenting on the process of advocacy. And again, we're going to celebrate the 3-foot passing law. But Dixie's going to also offer strategies, best practices for advocacy that people who attend the conference can go back into their communities and help advocate for walking and biking programs that will be good for their communities.
Advocacy is best done. It's most effective at the grassroots level, starting in your own neighborhood, in your own town, rather than at the top of government.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
Where you're most effective is at home.
It's where the needs are understood the best.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, and education, of course, is a huge part of advocacy because, people have to know the way to be safe, and we need to make our streets safer for people who do want to bike and walk, whether that's for recreation or health or any number of reasons. And we want to, be able to support those people through advocacy and education programs.
The third theme is design and infrastructure. And again, we can't have safe cycling and walking without a really good design and infrastructure that's safe, inviting, and easy to use and friendly to use. So we had mentioned earlier that we're going to actually have part of the team that's involved with the Town Branch Trail that's going to go through Lexington that will connect with the Legacy Trail and help connect networks. We mentioned about complete streets and complete trails. And we also are going to have an opportunity to paint some curbs in Lexington. There's a walking safety project that is sponsored through the Lexington City Council where we can actually put some art out there and you have an opportunity to paint and
sanctioned graffiti.
Yeah, it's awesome. Another idea people can take back to their communities.
Yeah, we're really excited about, I think it's the Heads Up campaign or the Safe Streets campaign. But yeah, they've not only put out signs around Lexington and done street art, but they've also wrapped several buses and, it's visible everywhere. So it's very cool to see not only messaging towards motorists, but also towards pedestrians and cyclists.
And then there's the one that kind of ties them all together in the way, and that's policy and funding.
Yeah, policy and funding. I mean, you can't have any of these other ones without the funding and without the policies that support these sorts of things. So we're hoping that a lot of our local politicians throughout the state will come. We sent invitations to everyone in Kentucky legislature. So we're hoping to have big turnout so that our representatives can see what an impact cycling and walking has for the state. And we have some local mayors and people who are going to come present about what great things are happening in their community and what they've done, not just in Lexington and Louisville, but in small towns throughout the state.
And if they register by the end of July, they can also get a free T-shirt and a poster.
Yes, absolutely. Right. And you can register on our website, kybikewalksummit.com. Registration also includes free breakfast and lunch and
free
lots
food.
Lots of awesome social activities and networking, and it's going to be great.
And not just our friendly politicians can come. We want everyone there.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have any interest in biking or walking and, health and activism, anything that interests you about biking and walking, we want you there to represent your community for Kentucky.
And it is at Transylvania University.
It is, yeah, August 16th and 17th.
And then around town too, because we're going to get out and enjoy the city.
Absolutely.
And social cycling and dressing up.
Yeah, definitely.
And at West 6, we'll have an opportunity to beer storm.
And bike polo.
Yep.
So we got it all. And to register, what do you do to register?
Register, you just go on our website, kybikewalksummit.com. It's $25 for students, $50 for advocates, and $75 for professionals who want continuing education credits.
And aside from just coming, we need people who will give presentations, interactive presentations, who will put in proposals.
Yeah, absolutely. Any stories that you have from your community about successes and lessons learned, we want you at the summit to present those and share them with others throughout the state so they can take them back to their own cities. So we have the call for proposals on our website, and the deadline to apply for that is June 15th.
And sponsors.
It's not too late.
It's
never too late. If you're interested in being a sponsor, we would welcome your sponsorship. Please check with the website again. There's an opportunity, click on sponsors, and it'll show you, connect you, and how you could make that happen.
But most of all, come.
Yeah, come enjoy it.
Yeah,
yes.
Definitely.
Register. We want to learn from you and your ideas too.
And share, be part of the scene, get to know fellow cyclists and fellow walkers.
Who doesn't like to hang out with cyclists?
That's right. And walkers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. From all over the state. I am so looking forward to this. This sounds like an absolute blast. Thank you all for pulling this together and for conceiving it.
Well, thank you, Wanda.
Yeah. Well, and unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's show. So again, I would like to thank our guests, Sharon Brown and Sandra Broadus, for their time.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. It's been great being here.
I really appreciate it. It has. And don't forget to tune in to Bike Talk at the same time next week for all things cycling, helping you get out, explore our towns and countryside in Lexington and beyond, all over Kentucky. Thanks for joining us. Be safe and enjoy the ride.